Hi, welcome to Wisecat. So today what we're going to do, the work of the day, is to actually migrate a server. So this actually comes in response to a question that I got from a viewer. Question was, how can I move Moodledata and MySQL database to a new site with a different URL? Okay, so in order to get this video out quickly, I'm not actually going to be using MySQL, but I'll be using postgreSQL, and it's very similar though. So stick by. I might actually make it a MySQL one later, but simply put, you copy it across. It's of course a little bit more involved than that, but I'll be explaining as we go along. Okay, so I've actually set up two servers, and I will actually be doing this in front of you. So I've got this one here called oldserver.wisecat.net, and I got this one here called newserver.wisecat.net. And so with these two servers, I'll be going and making essentially a backup and then going back. So actually during the video, I might actually refer to other videos that I've had. I will at least link them down in the description below, but I might also see if I can put up one of those YouTube cards around the place. So they could be up here or over here, or I don't really know where they... I've never done that before, so that'll be my new challenge for the day. Okay, so let's get to it. Previously, when I've described backups, I actually said Rubber Ducky's wing tip of the day was to back up your site, to do it and test your backups. This video today actually also demonstrates one way that you can test your backups and make sure that your backups are, well, good backups, because if you can't restore from your backup, what use is it? So this is a way to actually test the backup as well. To review over those previous videos, which I might put in a card if I can figure out how to do that, the three elements of a backup are first, the Moodle www root directory. So that's the Moodle code itself, which is not so important because you can just download a fresh copy from Moodle.org. But the important thing is that it does have all of your plugins and everything like that in there. So it's good to just grab the existing code if you can. The second thing that we have to back up is the Moodledata directory. Now this is all the files that have been uploaded to the server before. So all the pictures and things like that. So for example, this picture here, that's going to be in the Moodledata directory. And the third thing and the last thing that we have to do, of course, is the database, the SQL database. Now, if it's MySQL, only slightly different to what I'll be doing today. I'll be using postgreSQL. So let's get to it, shall we? Okay, so I'll clear away Rubber Ducky. Thank you very much, Rubber Ducky. You have been a great help. Yay! Okay, and let's get to it. So I've got myself here on the oldserver.wisecat.net. This is my Wisecat Moodle here. I've got a small little course in here. It's got some pictures of some ducks, of course, and some other content, which is great. So this is what it should look like on the right-hand side when we're finished. On the right-hand side, I have my new server here, and it's an Nginx server, and you can see it just has currently the Nginx default page appearing right there. In terminals, if we look at these two in terminals using htop, where you can see I've actually made them with 8 CPU cores each. These are actually running on a virtual box inside my desktop computer that I'm using to make this recording. And yeah, 8 CPUs is definitely, I got a little bit carried away with that. If you're doing it using VirtualBox on your own computer, do yourself a favor and stick to 1, maybe 2 CPU cores. I went a bit overboard with that. But hey, you know, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. So I'm going to put that out of the way for the moment. So I've actually SSH'd into both of these from my machine. So we'll be having a little bit of a look at how that works. Later on, actually, what we're going to do in order to copy the files across, because you do have to copy the files from old server to new server, we'll just use actually SSH to do that. And I'll show you a few additional commands that can come in very useful for transferring files. In particular, one is called rsync, and it's incredibly useful because if you're copying lots and lots and lots of files and you just want the ones that have changed since the last time, rsync is awesome. It doesn't copy across things that have already been copied. So we'll have a look about that first. But first we have to find out actually what do we need to copy. And to do that, what we can do is we can look in our actual Moodle instance and go to site administration. My screen is a little bit too small for that, so I'm going to expand that there. Site administration is right there. And we can go to server, and there are a few different ways you can find out where your www root is. But those are the two things we need, right? www root and the directory for the Moodledata as well, the Moodledata directory as well. So first we need to know, where are they? So let's go find them. And one simple way to find them is actually to look at the PHP info in your server, site admin server PHP info area here. Because this one right down the bottom has a list of environment variables and things like that. So you can actually see most of what you need here. So you can see here, the one that we're looking for is document root. This is our www root directory. And that one there is telling me that /srv/moodle/www. This is the directory that I'm going to be wanting here. It's this one here. So I know that that's where my Moodle is. This script file name, of course, is going to be in there as well. And you can see that the server's home is var www. Don't get confused with this one. This one is actually a common place to put your Moodle. So if yours is not in SRV, it might be in /var/www, but it might also be in some other strange place, like some installers put it in opt. So good way to check is just come into the PHP info, have a look for document root, and find your document root right there. So now that we know that that's our document root, we can come across to our terminal here, and I'll just look at the old server at the moment, and it said SRV, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change directory into /srv/www/ Moodle/www. Okay, I'm in my document root, and if I do a quick ls, I can find that yes, this is indeed Moodle code. I mean, look at it, it's got all the Moodle-y bits and pieces are hanging out right there. Okay, so how do we go? That's great, we found www root. And according to our Ducky wingtip, we found the number one, the www root. So we need this folder here. We also need the Moodledata directory. That's number 2. So where do we find that? Well, the simplest way to actually find that would be to cat config.php. Because config.php has all of these different variables and things like that in there, but one of them is actually the data root, which tells us where's the Moodledata directory. And we can see in this case, it's /srv/moodle/moodledata. So that data root, that's what we're after here. /srv/moodle/moodledata. A slight little side note here. If you're moving a server from Nginx to Apache, another one to watch out for is this config here for xsend file. This only really works on Nginx servers, so if you have it there, you might want to comment that out when you make the migration as well. Okay, and of course my database password is kind of rubbish, so definitely choose a better password. And this is kind of an opportunity to do so. So we can go. Other things that we are going to need though is the database name, which is Moodle, very creative, and my database user, which is Moodle user. Okay, perhaps not the best there, but anyway, we're going to need these when we set up the database on the new server, because the new server is currently empty, got nothing in there. All right, so first of all, though, let's prepare our Moodle for migration. And so one of the first things that we're going to want to do, now that we're in the Moodle directory, we know where everything is we're going to want to put the Moodle into maintenance mode. So sudo -u www.data, become the web browser user. We're going to hit up PHP, and we're going to go to admin /CLI/maintenance.php --enable. And it's wrapped, but it does say enable. I'll move that across there. Okay, so sudo -u www.php admin CLI maintenance.php --enable to enable maintenance mode. It'll ask me for a password. That's my server password, by the way, not my Moodle password. And now it's enabled. Maintenance mode is enabled. So now if I go back to my Moodle here and try to refresh that, let's try to just go to the dashboard. Uh-oh, Migrating Moodle. The Migrating Moodle is the name of the Moodle. So it's under maintenance. So this is just CLI maintenance mode, so nothing can touch the database or do anything, mess with anything here that's going to cause me dramas and make me regret my life. Oh dear, whoops, I've got, Rubber Ducky was in the way. Whoops, sorry about that. Okay, so cat config.php, just to go over that one more time, data root is here, and I should have got get Rubber Ducky out of the way, sorry about that. But yeah, here's that command that I did just before. Maintenance mode, sudo -u www.data php admin CLI maintenance php -- enable. And this is run from the Moodle web root directory. Okay, so I also, if I go back down a level there, we also remember that from our config.php that this is the location here. srv Moodledata is the location of our Moodledata directory. So if I just ll in there, I can see that, okay, I've got this Moodledata directory is right here. Permission 777, not the most secure, but anyway, it's all good. It's owned by www.data though. Maybe that's going to give me some troubles. So let's change all of the permissions of this entire folder before we make the copy. Moodle only really needs to have read permissions to the PHP files in order to run, but in order to be able to install plugins, for example, through the web interface, it needs to be owned by the web user, or web user needs to have permissions to write to that directory. So this is permissions issue can be a little bit of a drama. I'm user Adam here on the old server, so I'm going to change the ownership of everything in this directory. Tell you what, I might just go down another level, and I'm going to change the so sudo sudo change ownership of that. I'm going to do it recursively with the capital R there, and I'm going to say Adam Moodle. So this is changing the owner and the group recursively all the way through. The first one here is the owner Adam, and the second one is the group Adam. So both of these should change for everything in the Moodle directory, which is everything in here. So if I do that, now that was fast. All right, now I go in here, I can see I've got Adam is the Moodle. And if I cd Moodle again, look in here, and now everything's owned by me. So I own everything in here. And I'll have to put that back later as well. Actually, I wonder if I hit refresh here. Nope, still just going to say maintenance mode. If the web root does not have write permissions to the Moodledata directory, something I might forget later, so foreshadowing, but that will actually throw its own error. and Moodle will just say, you know, data root not writable, do not proceed, yeah, and it'll get all mad at us for that. But now that I own everything, that means I'm ready to copy it. Except there's one piece missing, right? Back to our ducky win tip, the SQL database. We need to get the SQL database. And why not let's put it in this same directory, the /srv/Moodle directory. Now, of course, we do not want to put this in, say, the Moodledata directory or the www root, because that would make it easily accessible by everyone on the internet, and that would suck because privacy-wise, that's just not good. So let's go to we're going to do the backup of it, but we'll do the up of it from this directory, this /srv/Moodle directory, and I'll just put it here as a zipped up SQL file. So, what do I need? I need pg_dump. All right, pg_dump is for postgreSQL. If you're actually using MySQL, the command is actually going to be, oh, wait a minute, I need to change user. Okay, if you're doing this on MySQL, I'll explain MySQL first. Sudo MySQL dump. MySQL dump. And then the database name and the rest thereafter is actually pretty much the same for what I'm going to do. For what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually change user to Postgres, which is the owner of the PostgreSQL process. So that should get me access to my database nicely. And I'm going to run pg_dump. And I'm going to dump the Moodle database. Now this part is the same with SQL as well. And that will dump it out to standard output. So I'm going to pipe that. This is a pipe character. It's just very long vertical line pipe character. This passes the dump that we're just making into another command because we want to zip it up. Because why not? I mean, zipping files up makes it a lot smaller. So gzip compression level 9. Let's turn it up to 11. No, 9's where you want to be. And we're going to output that using the right pointy bit, that thing, all right? Yeah, that thing. It's reversed in the camera, whatever. But anyway, we're using the right pointy thing to output that to our Moodle, let's call it Moodle backup.sql.gz. Okay, and that seems to have worked. Okay, let's do an LL, and we can see that I've got a backed up sql.gz file, and it's 339 kilobytes right there. Okay, as long as I leave this on this server, this is actually a backup. Right? It's all fully backed up. Oh, by the way, one more thing. You might actually wonder why this is actually working and why this file has the permissions of Adam and Adam. The reason is actually that when I piped it through, Adam owns this process. So the gzip is actually owned by Adam, although the pg_dump itself was owned by Postgres because of the sudo-u there. That's actually surprisingly useful. Because it means that I don't have to grant Postgres as a user. I don't have to grant Postgres the right permissions to this directory at all, which is another good reason to zip up your database backups. So there you go, little extra bonus there. Anyway, we've got everything we need here. We've got our www root, we've got our Moodledata directory, and my highlight is not. Okay, I'm highlighting the wrong places. And we've got our Moodle backup, which is the SQL database backup. So we've got the three parts mentioned by our Ducky's Win tip, right? www root, it's actually the exact opposite order. We've got the SQL database is the red one on top. The Moodle data directory and the www root, which is this one here. So all of these, as long as I copy these across to my new server, then I'll be fine. So shall we proceed to the copy? I think we shall. All right, so, and what we're going to do here, over here on the right-hand side, let's command down, and you can see over here I'm Adam at old server here, and over the right-hand side here I'm Adam at new server. This is my new server. This is my new. It's new. It's pristine. If I go cd/srv, which is where I like to put my Moodle, if I go in here and ll, there's nothing in there. It's empty. This is an empty server. It's an empty shell of a server. It has no Moodles or anything like that in there. So what we're going to try and do is have it so that this server over here, the old server, can log into that server, right? I'm just going to make myself a little bit bigger. So we're going to take, I got to do this backwards. This server here, the old server, we're going to, at that server, we're going to log directly from that server into that server so that we can copy the files across. Okay, how do we do this? Well, of course, we're going to use our old friend, SSH. So, hey, shrink me. That's more like it. Okay, so we're going to SSH, and we're going to say Adam, because the username is actually the same on both servers, because, hey, I'm running them both. Adam at new server.wisecat.net. And that should allow me to SSH into the new server. Now, the first time I'm logging in, because I'm logging in from a new server here, authenticity of host can't be established. Do you want to connect? Yeah, sure. Yes, I do. I trust that that is actually that server. And the first time I logged in, this is not strange at all to me. And I can use the password, and after I've entered my password, boom, I'm in. Now you can see I've actually got the same prompt over both sides. I've got Adam at new server here, down here at the very bottom of the screen. And this terminal in the right-hand side, because these are separate terminals, right? And this is also Adam at new server there. So you can see I've actually got two sessions going, but this one's going directly from my PC here, and this one is actually going from the old server to the new server. So this is a direct connection here. And the reason to log in like this is actually to get this fingerprint stuff out of the way. So now, the second time I log in, if I just close that session and reopen it again, SSH, the same command again, this time it doesn't ask me, hey, do you know that server, the fingerprint, do you recognize this fingerprint? It doesn't ask that because I've already done it before. And it recognizes that, hey, we've seen this server before. And so it'll just let me straight in. If you do not like doing passwords, which I don't, you can generate yourself some keys using SSH-keygen. And usually just hit enter again. It doesn't matter. You don't need a passphrase usually, unless you're super paranoid. And then now what I can do is SSH-copy ID, and I can say Adam at new server .wisecat.net. And this also actually assumes that we're using the exact same, the DNS and everything is already preset, so things like that. So that's taking longer than it usually does. There we go. And now I've got my password prompt, and I will authenticate with the password. And that now has copied my public key from the old server into the new server. So now if I SSH into that machine, just using that same old SSH command, it didn't ask me for a password even. That's convenient, especially when you're trying to do things like rsync and things like that, where you might be running the command several different times. So that's what we're going to do now. So I have actually pre-prepared this command because it's a little bit of a long one. I will explain bits of it. Won't go into too much depth because rsync is its own topic. It has lots and lots of things. But this is essentially what I'm going to be wanting to do. Rsync, so invoke the command here. And I've got the options here, RAVZH. And the A here is arguably a little bit overkill, because it's kind of covered, but I'm just going to quickly explain what they are. So R means recursive. Sorry, I got that backwards. The R is kind of redundant because the R is recursive, which means go into all of the lower directories that you want to go to. And I'm going to be too big for this. Yeah, I'm getting in the way. Let me see. There we go. Now I'm gone completely. Okay, so rsyncs R here. The R switch is basically saying recurse into directories. The A switch, this actually means go into archive mode, which actually activates a whole bunch of different options, which are pretty useful. Generally speaking, you want to copy things in archive mode. The V is just for verbose. Just tell me what you're doing. Rsync. Don't keep it to yourself because rsync will run silently if you don't. The Z means zip the files before you're sending them somewhere because we're going over the network. We don't want to use too much data. And H is human readable because, hey, when you're giving me numbers, don't give me big long numbers of how many bytes everything was. Give me, such and such M for megabytes or such and such K for kilobytes so that I know, a human can read what we're looking at. Progress. Show me your progress as you go. And this is a cool little feature of rsync. It actually will show little progress bars and things like that for every file it sends. And this part here, include dot stuff. All right, so we got a lot of files in our Moodle directory that start with a dot. So include everything that starts with a dot as well. The hidden files, yeah, I want all of them because that's going to be my Git folder, my git ignore file if I have one available, or any of the other stuff like git and stuff like that is going to be really useful. Because if you've followed the instructions on my previous videos and gitified your Moodle, well, you don't want to get rid of that hard work just because you're migrating. Okay, the next one over here is RSH, so that's remote shell, and it's saying that we're telling it that, hey, we want to use SSH. We don't none of this FTP stuff, and hell no telnet. We want to use SSH, and we want to use port 22. So if you actually change the port number for your server, which I highly recommend, the default is port 22, so I'll be using that today, but change it away from port 22, still got you covered right there. You can change it to whatever you want, preferably a higher number, something picked somewhat at random. And what are we going to be sending? We're going to be sending this SRV Moodle, the contents of that folder, which includes currently, remember that, it includes everything we need to send. And we're going to send it to adam@newserver.wisecat.net. We're going to use the username Adam because he knows to do that. And we're going to actually send it to the exact same place on that server. I mean, why confuse things? Let's just put it in the exact same place. So these are basically mirror images of each other. That way we'll know where to find it. We know where everything is on our new server. All right, so let's do that and watch it fail. So again, with the, why is it asking me that? I don't know. Okay. Authenticity. Well, oh, wait a minute. Okay, number one mistake here. Adam@newserver. I'm still logged into the new server. I want to just say no. Let's Control C out of that. Let's get out of that. Let's give up that. I should have logged out. Log out of new server because I've got to run this command from the old server. Yeah, mirror images doesn't get confusing at all. Hey. So here we go, and I'm going to come back. Yeah. There we go. Ha! Welcome back. Yeah. So here we go. rsync. Our rsync command. Paste it in again. It's the same command. And hit it. And boom. Problem. Failed. Why did it fail? It failed because, and this is a common one, permission denied. Permission denied? What do you mean permission denied? Well, if we have a look in new server, and that's why I got this second one open here. When I LL'd in here, you can see SRV is typically owned by root, and we've got other has no write permissions in here. So we're trying to stick stuff in /srv/Moodle, and there is no Moodle folder, and we can't create it because it's owned by root. So what we need to do is create a folder and grant permissions to that folder. So sudo make directory. Let's make the directory Moodle first up. Oh, password again. Okay, no worries. And woohoo! Now we've got a Moodle directory. It's empty. It's got nothing in it, but it's also owned by root, which kind of sucks because we can't do anything with that. Okay, let's change ownership. So we're going to need sudo for this. Change owner of Moodle to Adam. Let's change the group while we're at it. Now this time I don't need that -R, the -R that's for recursive, because there's nothing in there. And I can prove that. cd Moodle, ll, let's look in there. And you can see there is nothing in this folder whatsoever. But now we can see that the dot, which means this folder, srv/Moodle, is owned by Adam. That's important. And its parent is owned by root. We don't really care about that because it's readable and executable, which means that the user Adam should be able to traverse into here, no problem whatsoever. Okay, so let's go back to our old server, left-hand side again, and let's hit that same command one more time now that we've got our permissions sorted out. And this time it should work. Is it going to work? Now that's taking a long time. But then again, the SSH copy ID took a long time. Oh, there it goes! Boom! And you can see it's actually reporting to me. Whoa! Holy moly! Okay, you took a long time and then suddenly, boom, you burst into action and now everything's done? What? Really? Okay, come on, let's check this out. Okay, so you can see so much for taking time to actually, I guess all the files are tiny, but that's actually copied across all the files, and you can see the individual 100%. This actually ticks along and changes depending on how much progress has been made. So I guess I didn't really need that, but you can see that the list, because we went super verbose and show me the progress and everything, it did all of that. And you can see here also it says speed up is 1.3, which is usually on a first run of rsync, you'll actually see speed up is nothing. But if I run it a second time, watch what happens. It's the exact same command. Boom. And no files. And speed up is 910.13. That's because rsync doesn't copy across files that it already exist. It just does what's necessary. So if I come in here and I say touch hello, right? If I do that, now in here I've also got this file hello here, and it will, if I do that now, oh, by the way, over here there's the other stuff there that we put in before, but over here the hello file has not been synced. But if I do the rsync one more time, watch what happens. Boom, hello was sent. The hello, it's an empty file, but the file hello was synced. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? You don't have to copy everything every single time. And this is really, really a lifesaver if you're copying a big Moodle site, for example, a lot of data, a lot of files, and it stops halfway through. If you're using something like CP or something like that, just trying to FTP it across, you could be tearing your hair out. If you're using rsync, you just say, pick up where you left off. And it's fine. So if I remove hello, right, I've removed it from the old server. Let's run that rsync command one more time. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Did it do anything? No, it didn't do anything. Why not? Well, that's because also one of the safety features of rsync is unless you tell it, literally tell it to delete, it won't delete anything from the target directory. Deleting hello. Once I told it to delete though, boom, hello, it's saying deleting hello. Hello is gone. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, whoa, that's behind me, but behind my head, yeah, isn't that great? Okay, hello was there. It was there, there you go, and now it's gone, yeah. You know, I really got to pay more attention to where my head is. Okay, anyway, I think you got the point, right? Rsync is awesome. So when you're copying stuff across, rsync is awesome. Anyway, so now our old Moodle server, we're done with it. We bid it a farewell, and I can log out and close that terminal. So now I've only got the one terminal. That's a new server terminal right here, because I've got everything I need. I've got my 321 and my Moodle backup SQL. I've got my Moodledata directory, and I've got my my www. Okay, so first I'm going to gunzip, unzip. So to unzip my SQL. Let's do that. Why not? First thing that we want to do, let's do that. Moodle backup.sql.gz. Let's unzip it. There it is. Now it's unzipped. It's just an SQL. But let's less it. Less is a good tool for looking at files. It doesn't load the entire file, which is why I want to use less for this. Now you'll notice in a PostgreSQL database dump, there's a thing that the owner usually gets specified here. And that can be a bit of a pain, because if you don't want to specify the Moodle, you know, if you want to specify a different Moodle user or something, then you kind of have to change every instance of that in the SQL file as well. That's not too bad. It's easy enough to do, but if you've got something generic like Moodle user, well, you're actually best off just using the same user. That also is findable in, say, cd www cat config.php, because it's specified here, and the Moodle user's password. Please choose better passwords than this. I'm going to copy that to my clipboard. There we go. So let's just make a database user for the Postgres. We're going to make the database user with that. We're going to make that user first, and then we're going to make the Moodle database with this owner, and then we're going to import that from PostgreSQL. Okay, so sudo -u Postgres PSQL. That's how you get into PostgreSQL. If you're using MySQL, it's going to be a little bit different. Be sudo MySQL usually. Boom. Or MariaDB as well, by the way, for MySQL. Same basic idea. If we come in here, we can have a look at the list, and we can see that we've got, it's actually Australian. That's okay. It's UTF-8, and UTF-8 is basically what you want to see in the encoding and the templates and stuff like that as well. So that's pretty good. We should be pretty well good to go. So what I'm going to do is create myself a new user. I am going to create... I'm going to do this command here, which I've pre-prepared so that I don't mess it up. Create user, and I'm shouting. You know, there's a tendency in SQL to shout, right? You shout the stuff that is not actually specific to your circumstances. Moodle user at localhost identified by this password. So identified by the password, right? So that's how we know that Moodle user really is who Moodle user says he is. It is. Whatever. Okay, so I've creating that user. Oh, wait a minute. What have I messed up? I've messed up something. What did I mess up? Oh, wait a minute. Oh. Sorry. I did mess up. Oh, yeah. Okay. Talk about doing it on MySQL. That's MySQL identified by. Okay. That's right. On postgreSQL, we don't want identified by, we want with password. That's right. That's one of the differences between MySQL and postgreSQL. So there we go. Oh, and that messed up as well. Wait, what did I mess up this time? Let me see. Create user, Moodle user. Oh, that's right. I don't have to mention the localhost bit. Oh, and that works. Okay, thank you. Good. Finally. Jeez. Come on. All right. And what I am going to do next is... Oops. Half my letters are missing. And I'm going to create a database called Moodle with the owner Moodle user. And actually, this is why I tend to prefer setting up Postgres Moodles, because you don't have to do anything Barracuda-ish or anything like that when setting up the database. It's a bit simpler. You don't even have to really worry about UTF-8, MP4, or any of that sort of stuff. You just do those two commands and you're done. So Control-D to get out of Postgres, and that's it. My PostgreSQL database is set up. I'm going to go back to srv/Moodle, and there it is. My Moodle backup.sql is there ready to go in. Just a second, I'm going to get myself a glass of water, but I will pause the recording so that it doesn't bother you. Okay, that was great. Yeah, lovely glass of water. So hi, welcome back to WiseCat. Right, so where were we? We were about to restore our SQL into our Postgres. So let's do that. Okay, sudo -u. We're going to become the Postgres user on this server now. And we're going to run PSQL. And what we want to do is use the freshly minted new database called Moodle. And we want to put in there Moodle backup.sql. We want to take that SQL and just run that SQL straight into that Moodle. So let's try that and see if it works. Boom, 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 boom. It's altering tables and creating stuff, creating indexes, and boom, and it's done. Boom. That was pretty painless, wasn't it? All right, so in this case, I actually have used the exact same credentials for my Moodle database again. I use that rubbish password again. So my config.php actually should be pretty well fine. And I'm going to leave that SQL file there for now, because I will like to actually show you something later, foreshadowing. There you go. Because there's another way that one of the remaining steps can actually be accomplished. The config.php is there, cat config.php. Well, actually, I'm going to sudo. It's read-only, so I'm going to use sudo to force my ability to edit that file, right? Because otherwise I'd have to change the mode and make it... it says right down the bottom there, config.php is meant to be read-only. What are you doing forcing edit on it? Well, hey, I only want to change a little bit of it. So we've put the Moodle data directory in the same place as it was before, and there we go. There's our Moodle data directory right there. Now the permissions are still messed up on it, foreshadowing again, because we're going to get that error. But this is the next thing here, this old. All right, so old server, no, we have moved to the new server. So we want to actually change that URL so that the URL for the www root is going to say, hey, new server here, because we're on a new server. We're not on the old server, we're on the new server. It's an Nginx file folder as well, and so all this should just be fine, because I've also added that to my Nginx configuration. So I generally don't have to mess with my config.php. Depending on if you've changed the location of files and things like that, you might actually have to change the data root. And if you've even, changed the database name or the database username or the database password or something, you might need to change these files as well. these directives as well, because, well, the new Moodle will be based on the new Moodle settings. Anyway, I'm going to write that out there. It wrote out, even though it's write only, because I was sudo, and sudo can sudo anything. So let's get into it now. So we're pretty close to where we should be. Let's bring that web browser again. This one over here on the old server is still migrating Moodle under maintenance. The one on the right hand side, nothing. Why not? Well, glad you didn't ask. But sorry, that was rude. But anyway, it's because the Nginx is still going to pointing to the default site. I have actually pre-prepared the Nginx Virtualhost file, but now I might as well just go in and edit it. So sudo /etc for Nginx, right? /etc/Nginx /sites enabled, if I can type properly. And in there, I've got my new server.wisecat.net. Here it is, and the root is the directive that I changed, right? I am commenting out the default, which is, this is the default web root, and there is the actual path to my Moodle now, /srv/moodle/www. That's all I actually have to change, because I've actually configured the rest of the server properly otherwise. Sort of properly, anyway. So I've also got these security recommendations as well. I'll also, I've done a video on the security thing before, so down below, card up, I don't know, somewhere, if there is a card. So these ones are actually the recommendations from Moodle HQ about how to secure the Moodle and make sure that stuff that you shouldn't be showing isn't getting shown. Here, the data root thing, this is for our xsend file stuff, so that anything that's under data root can just go straight through, boom, boom, boom. So that's very much similar to our old server's configuration, but this is new server. This is not old server, this is new server, this is a different place. Okay, so I write that out and I exit my word processor there, Nano, and I look at my welcome to Nginx and nothing. Remember, you've got to restart Nginx. So sudo, we'll do a quick test first, eh? Just make sure that I haven't messed up yet another thing. Sudo nginx-t, test is successful, looking good. Okay, so let's restart systemctl restart Nginx, and that should make the thing actually take effect. And beware, I am predicting that this will still not work, but you'll see what actually happens. So that's our default site. Refresh the page, migrating Moodle under maintenance. And wait a minute, that seems to have worked. You might think, hey Adam, what are you talking about? That worked. Look, old server and new server now look the same. Yeah, that's the old server, right? If I just make the zoom the same, old server, new server, old server, new server. What's the difference? Well, let me just take it out of maintenance mode, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm in the www folder here, directory here, so I can go sudo. And actually, I'm going to make this stick to the top now. Always on top, yeah. Sudo, that's right, maintenance mode. Ooh, been a long day. -u. So I want to be the www data user, and I want to go to PHP, and I want to admin it up, CLI that, and maintenance that up, and I want to disable my maintenance mode. Right. Maintenance mode has been disabled and the site is running normal again. Really? Okay. Let's try that. Oh, it does seem to be working. It's working better than I was actually expecting. Fancy that. Okay. Let's try going. Oh. Great. Admin, I think it was, and I think the password was egg. I made it something silly and stupid and easy. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so I'm currently the owner of these files, so won't be able to. Okay. I think I must have. Because I used rsync with the archive thing. That's right. It's made sure that the permissions are right too. All right, so I'm going to replicate what I was hoping would actually happen, and I've messed up because the original Moodle was also 777 here. So user, group, and everyone's got right permissions here. What I was expecting to happen, what I was hoping to sort of show you, but I messed up because it's 777. Shouldn't actually do 777. But anyway, let's get rid of 777 there. Yeah, well, I own it. Mod, change mode. Let's say 700. Moodledata. Moodledata, and we'll make that recursive as well. We'll change the change mode. Why did I put the E there? All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just hit a bit of sudo action in there as well. Just make sure we're good. We're golden. Okay, so it's now 700, which means that the user can view it, the owner can view it, but no one else can touch it. And let's see what happens there, because you might encounter this. Fatal error! CFG data root is not writable! Admin has to fix directory permissions exiting. I mean, that seems so rude. That seems so rude when it says that to you. But don't worry, it's telling you exactly how to fix it. It's saying the data root, which is that directory that we're talking about here, right? The Moodledata directory. It's saying that directory has not got right permissions by the web server. And actually one of the simplest ways to fix that is actually to just change the owner of Moodledata directory to www.data. Because, you know, the web server is the only one that has to actually do stuff in there, really. I mean, you don't really need to. So sudo change owner -r www.data, and I'm not even going to bother changing the group. Just going to change that, and once you've done that, you come back into and there it is. You know, you've got your Moodle back up and running again, right? And that's migrated. Okay. There are a couple of additional points to mention. Okay, so right now, our present working directory is /srv/Moodle, and so we still need to add a cronjob. We haven't added a cronjob to this new server, right? So if I log in, let's go in here. There's no cronjob. The other thing that we do need to do, so actually I'm going to put it back into maintenance mode because you should not really do this outside of maintenance mode. But there's another thing to do. Well, actually, you know what? I want to show you actually what's wrong with it. Okay, so let's go into this course. Let's go in. Have a look. Egg. Why egg? I don't know. Why not? Oh. Okay, wait. Let me have a look. I want to turn editing on for a second here and go to this. Because I want to have a look in at the code in here. Oh, that's changed over. Okay, so this hasn't actually been here. Sometimes what you'll see is this new server doesn't actually change over properly because some of the links will have been hard-coded with the HTTP for the old server in place. So what you'd have to do, and what should be done actually, is to make sure that you, leave, go away. Yeah, let's go back. All right, what you should do, and what doesn't seem to be necessary here, I thought I might be tripping myself up there, but it looks like my images and stuff are actually coming in perfectly, unfortunately. But if I've linked something to the server URL or something like that, I'd need to have those changed over from the old to the new. So what we actually do, there is actually a tool in here. Tool, here's admin tool, right, cd, oh wow, the input, for, I'm in the wrong directory for the, man, I wasn't paying attention. Right. Well, anyway, I just enabled and disabled maintenance mode without actually doing anything because it just said cannot open input file. Oh, lots of mistakes today. All right. No problem. I'm sort of rushing. Okay, but what we want to do is, I think it's admin tool slash, what do we got in there? We want replace. We're looking for not HTTPS replace. We're looking for just a straight up replace. Replace, there it is. All right. Replace. What do we got there? Replace CLI. Right. Replace.php. If I just run that, it'll actually tell me what I have to do. You see, it's a search and replace for the SQL database. And this is how you finish up, seal the deal of making sure that you are replacing everything. So it even gives you a nice little example down the bottom here. Sudo, do the replace command and search for old site host and replace with new site host. So let's do that. Let's copy that even. And just add that on, tack that onto the back there. And so new server, and you don't even need the full host, but I'm going to add it. .net. All right, search for old server.wisecat.net. You might notice that I don't actually need to have HTTP or HTTPS. And in this particular instance, I don't want to have it there because I'm only running HTTP. And actually, most of you out there should be running HTTPS. If you're not, then get HTTPS. Let's Encrypt. Just Google Let's Encrypt. It's seriously easy, and you should never. No one should ever be running HTTP. Okay, let's try that. And it's saying this is experimental and stuff like that, so don't do it without a backup. We have a backup because we've got an SQL file, right? So that's a backup. Boom, 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 boom. It's done that. Now, depending on what you've actually changed it to, if you've changed it to something shorter, you might actually have to add -- shorten. Because generally, it's a safety feature is implemented to make sure that you're not just cutting everything out. So it's a weird safety feature because if your new URL is shorter, you will need to add the shorten tag there on the end. But as I said, that's right there. Shorten result if necessary. Perform the replacement without confirming. Don't recommend using that, but it exists. Nice to know. And if you add any tables, you need to skip. But why would you do that? Okay, so the alternative to that is to come into your SQL file. And as you know, your SQL file is essentially just a text file, right? So any of the changes that we made up there, we can actually make in this file before we imported that. And MySQL dumps, same basic story, as long as it's just the plain text. Then you can change things just by changing them in the dump file. This is perhaps not as safe, but anyway, it's worthwhile looking at anyway. The command would be sed is a very useful one as well. That's string editor. We want to make the changes inline inside the file that we're actually mentioning here, and we want to substitute, and we can do say any punctuation is fine, but you need to use the same one 3 times. And G to do that. So what we're substituting, old server.wisecat. And that's as far as I'm going to go in this particular one. Substitute it with new server.wisecat. No, wisevat. No, wisecat. Like that. And that should do all of those things in there as well. Oh, what did I mess up there? Unterminated S command. How did I not terminate it? All right. Anyway, okay. I don't know. I've messed that up somehow. But anyway, sed can be used to find and replace all the instances in the Moodle backup.sql, and you can do that before you actually import that into the new server's SQL backend, and that'll work. And for some reason, I don't know, I messed up something there. I can't think of what I've messed up. What did I do? Terminated S. I'm looking at it and it still looks terminated by this third colon to me, so second colon in the middle. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to look up the sed thing here anyway. I'm going to just barrel on. Because essentially, once you've done the find and replace in your database, you are practically done. So there is one last thing. There's always one more thing. Always one more thing to do. And this thing is the thing that lots of people forget, including myself. And I think I just did. And that is that what we really need to do is add a cron job, right? And so we need sudo -u www.data, because we want to use the www.data use, and we want to add cron tab. We want to edit the cron tab. So cron tab -e for edit, and boom, there we are. We can just paste. Oh, I copied it. Well, I mean, you can copy it from the old server, for example, if it's everything's in the same place. Presuming that it exists. Star, 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 space. I mean, it's star, space, star, space, star, space, star, space, star. Right, that's 5 stars means run every minute. Right, 5 stars, run every minute. That's what 5 stars mean. PHP, invoking PHP as www.data, because this is www.data's cron tab. The path to the cron.php file, which is that one there. And put the output into /dev/null, and also standard error as well should go to that same place. So let's do that, and that is the cron tab setup. Of course, you can test that that actually works by going sudo -u www.data and PHP and blah blah blah, and that seems to have run fine. So now if I do that 2 times, then I can come back into my web page here on the new server, go to site administration, and it shouldn't complain that cron has not been running. It's all good. Moodle app isn't sorry, this is just a demo server, so I'm not going to enable the Moodle app. There you go, and you can see it's brand spanking new. Okay, so that is pretty much how to migrate. There are a few extra things, I guess. Oh yeah, if you want to be able to install plugins from the web interface, then you need to change ownership of the www one. Sudo change ownership www.data of the www folder -r recursive. Let's change it all the way through, and now www.data owns it, which should mean that we have no problems doing anything. The permissions for config.php should have gone fine as well, so if we go to our security checks, we shouldn't have any issues. Password policy not set. Yeah, that's how I was able to set the password of egg. Have a password policy, guys. HTTPS is not enabled, so that's an issue there. But otherwise, I mean, these 3 and the info about administrators existing is not bad. But the writable config.php, rsync took care of that for us and made sure that it didn't enable right. And that's it. This Moodle has been migrated. If you don't buy that, look at that. That's the old server.wastecat.net, which is still in maintenance mode. It still exists. It's still there. And it's essentially a backup of this site now. The new server site. Okay. So, I hope that has worked. How did we do? Just over an hour. I was hoping for just under an hour. But anyway, that's how you migrate a server from one server to the other and with a new URL. Thank you very much for watching. If you've stuck with me this far, yeah, good for you. Thank you very much. And I'll talk to you again sometime soon, hopefully with a shorter one next time, because these long ones are, they take it out of me. That's why I make mistakes all the time. But anyway, whatever. I'll catch you next time. Cheers. Bye.